I can't even. I don't even have words. I literally have no words.
But right now, this entire contract proves, and the contracts that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin have signed from day one have proved they're out of touch with what reality is with the Vancouver Canucks. We are a bottom 10 team that are acting like we're a top 5 team. What I go like,
you can't. You literally can't trade everyone. That's such a stupid concept. That
to me,
so many fans are like, "Oh, we have to trade everybody. Trade the coach.
So 3 minutes ago, you rewind. Maybe this team's not good enough. How do you fix this team then if you're going to keep re-signing these core players?
Well, there never is. You and I have discussed this so many times. The CFL is their own worst enemy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the May 29th edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am of course, your host, Jake Hughes, and across from me is the old man. How the hell are you doing, old man?
I am doing grand. How are you doing?
I was good until I tripped over my own words there, just doing the intro. So that's how things are going to be going today.
Well, it's funny because we start the show all the time with those clips of our little rants that we have during the show. And the first one is, if they win a Stanley Cup before the Canucks, and they're up 3-2 in the series and they're leading 3-0. We're talking about the Vegas Knights.
Golden Knights.
I don't even care to say their name.
Big thing is, the Stars have been in this position before. They were down to last game, I believe, and they came back and won.
They did.
So anything's possible, and I don't want to write them off just yet. But it's the end of the first, and it's 3-0. So
it's not looking good.
No, but it's a need to win. So they're going to come out in the second and third here, and all things firing. So we've been a team.
I'm making a post as you're talking, so keep talking.
Fine. It's fine. We've been a team. The Canucks, we follow very closely here. We've been a team where we have been up 3-2 in a series and have had multiple times to close it out. And it's hard to close out a series, but it's only doable in the NHL.
Well, it was funny. I was listening to the Fan 960 while I was driving into the casino to play poker this morning because it was poker morning. And the guy's like, well, there's no way Dallas can beat Vegas four in a row. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, well, they don't need to. They only need to win one game at a time. And they've won 2. So all they have to do is do that again. They've won 2 in a row. They can win 2 in a row again. And as I was thinking that, I don't know who they were, but whoever the co-host said that literally the same thing I was thinking. Because it's that's why we play the games.
It's the only, to me, it's the only playoff series, like playoff format that North America has, where you win or you get in, you could win. I mean, it's not likely that you are a team that's 8th seed and you're going to make the Stanley Cup final, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at St. Louis a couple years ago. They literally the worst team before Christmas and ended up going on the run of a lifetime and won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and anything can happen, right?
To me, it is one of the only sports that anything can happen is true.
Yes. I mean, it's a tournament. You play 82 games in the round robin, and then it's the top blank teams. Is it 16 teams?
16 teams, yep.
Get in, and the Canucks have done it. I think it was 90. Was it 94? The Canucks
Yes.
finished in the bottom, and in that case, it wasn't even close to what Dallas, or sorry, that the Panthers have done, where they finished last in eighth. But Dallas has actually beaten
They beat
every top
Boston.
team.
They beat Boston, who everyone said this is Boston's year. There's no way anyone can beat them. They beat Boston.
Yes.
Next up, Toronto. Well, Toronto finally got out of the first round. Look how. And Carolina's going to put Florida in their place. Oh. Now.
But see, when the Canucks did it in '94, the all four top teams got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, which is
right?
which I don't think it's happened since something like that.
Oh, probably not. It was insane. It was one of those. Well, this is weird.
And it's a different seeding now, right? I believe after that year was part of the reason, because Bettman took over in 93, 90, I believe 95, 96 was the first year he started making wholesale changes to be very similar to what the NBA is, because that's where Bettman came from. And I believe that was part of the impetus of being like, whoa, we can't have all of four of our top teams knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
It doesn't make for compelling television.
Well, it could still happen, though.
It could still happen. It's very, very unlikely the way they have it figured.
It'll be interesting. I would love to see the what's the word I'm looking for? People watching.
The ratings?
The ratings. Thank you. I'd love to see the ratings for either, if whoever gets through, whether it be Dallas or Vegas. I think Vegas would increase the ratings. Dallas, I think, would lower the ratings, in my opinion.
Or you'd say Vegas would lower the ratings?
No, I think you'd have higher ratings if Vegas gets in.
Really?
Lower ratings if Dallas gets in.
I disagree. I believe.
Oh, really?
I think that that it would be 100%. Sorry, I'm working on
squirrel. What was it? See, this, folks, if you're only watching the podcast, you're missing half the show, because that was the instance where Jake was looking at the camera and then went,
well,
in mid-sentence.
I've been dealing with technical issues for the last half an hour or so.
Oh, but you fixed it.
Thank you. Thank you for realizing what I was doing. I was fixing the camera.
You fixed it.
Now I'm.
But you still got the rubber. Oh.
You can't call it that anymore. It's called the pylon, and he's my.
It's
friend.
Called the pylon.
Who
did we used to call? Who did you and I call the pylon that played for the Canucks?
We've called many players pylons that played for the Canucks. You used to call Edler a pylon for years.
Oh God, yeah.
It
was one ball. Salo.
Salo was never. I don't understand why you. We're moving on. We're not going to get into this today.
It's just so easy.
We're not getting into this today.
So Vegas. Back to Vegas.
Vegas. I don't think it changes the numbers either way. I really don't. No? I think this is going to be one of the least viewed Stanley Cup finals in years. And I think ESPN and TNT are going to, Warner, are going to be concerned about their money.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, concerned about their money. They've already paid. People have already paid for advertising, so I don't think it's a case of, because you're not paying per game. The advertisers are paying, so they've already paid.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a case of, I think Canadians will always watch. It's a final. Most hockey fans are going to watch. I don't. If the Canucks aren't in it, I very rarely watch a full game unless it's a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Or if like Vegas and Dallas get to Game 7, I'll probably watch. I'll turn it on in the end of the game just to see. I like watching the cup celebration.
Yeah, I don't like watching the cup celebration.
Yeah, I know.
I'll watch most, like in the final, like the finals. I'll probably watch game 3, 4, 5 if it goes that. Like I'll watch the games where the cup could go out if I'm not busy doing anything else. It's not a must watch situation for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
People are like, "Oh, it means you're not true." No, I'm busy. I have a life.
Yeah, exactly.
I make time for the Canucks. If
Yeah.
the Canucks were in right now and the game was on and we were supposed to be recording, you bet your asses you would not be getting an episode tonight.
Well, yeah. Oh gosh, if it is, could you imagine? We
It
do an
would be a
episode while we're watching it.
it would be a watch along, and you guys would understand what it means to be an irrational fan.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it's not something that's I think is going like Vegas or Dallas is not going to be something that on a casual fan or even a
No.
diehard of a team isn't going to Vegas versus Florida. Ooh, great. Two summer places. That's fantastic.
The only reason I say Vegas is if Vegas gets in, the ratings are going to be higher. I don't mean like higher drastically, like they're going to break records. I just think Vegas has more fans than worldwide. And I say that, I mean North America, because a lot of Canadians they go to Vegas on a regular basis. So I think it would it's you're going to have a better ratings with Vegas just because of that.
I don't know. I think Texas is also a very large state. And if they have a chance to win something in sports, they're going to tune in.
And
Like
that's my concern is, will they?
I think they will, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a podcast. I can't say it's called F Face. Literally F Face is what it's called. And one of the guys is a huge basketball fan, and he's lived in Dallas, or he's lived in Austin, Texas for like the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But he's not a huge hockey fan. But in the last episode, it was brought up because the Stars are doing so well, he's paying attention to them. And I think that's a way a lot of sports fans in Dallas, because Texas in general is very proud to be from Texas.
Yes.
They almost have a bigger Texas pride, state pride, than they do national pride. They're going to turn up and say, "Let's win, yeehaw, giddy up, cowboy."
Giddy up, cowboy. Did you just say that? That's got to be like the most.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I'm trying to get the game to come up on my phone and it won't. I think that has to be the most
American. Cowboy.
No, you're profiling. You're profiling a typical.
You've been to Texas. You've been there, right?
They carry guns on the bus. On the bus. Holster right here.
Hey, you can see it. You know that's a good guy with a gun because he's not trying to hide it.
Oh my goodness!
But we're not going to get political on this show because it is election
political day though. 45 minutes.
If you're in Alberta and you're watching right now and you haven't gone and voted, you have 45 minutes, and that's more than enough time.
Turn off our stream. Go vote.
Clearly, turn us off. Go vote, because it took it took me and my roommate Dom about 10 minutes to vote today.
Yeah, it's quick,
and that includes walking to the place.
Yeah, we had to go just down to the Catholic school down the road here, and we did it at just around 9:30. And it was literally walk in, walk up, get the card, walk over, vote, done.
It feels like they're prepared for a lot of people to vote. I mean, Alberta itself broke records for early voter turnout.
750,000 early voters. So,
yeah.
But this isn't a political podcast, so carry on.
We're moving on.
Because I'll start ranting.
Well, we might need a rant tonight because we're kind of light on things to talk about, because we're in this awkward moment in Canucks land, in Lions land, and
nothing's really happening.
We had a preseason game. I don't know if you really want. Let's talk about the preseason game. The CFL preseason week 1 of the BC Lions preseason saw us taking on the Rough Riders from Saskatchewan. I'm going to be honest. I watched about 5 minutes of this game because I was doing a charity stream, so I had to be on at 100 level all day for 12 hours. So
can I rant?
Yeah, please do.
Big sigh. We are a professional league, the CFL, the Canadian Football League. We've been around for 100 plus years. I was going to say hundreds, but 100 plus years. How come we can't get a stream done properly?
So now, to be fair to the CFL,
If you say it's just preseason.
well, no, I'm not going to say it's just preseason. This is their first foray into streaming at all. They're about 8 years late than every other
Right.
professional
So
platform. But
everybody else has
no,
done it.
let me get to my point before you interrupt me. They're using, because the league is poor, they're using infrastructure that's already in place. That infrastructure that's in place is not made for streaming. Now, I'm giving them benefit of the doubt for this season only, because now they know where they need to fix it. They have TV people in that truck in the bay doing things. They need to let them do their job properly.
Well, they weren't doing it very well. I'll tell you
Again,
that.
I'm giving them this season because this is their first foray. They've never
But
even thought of it.
I guess my point is they never thought of it. Streaming isn't new, as you just said.
Yep.
We do a better job streaming than those mother puckers did. And we don't have a budget, or our budget's under $20 a show. You can't tell me they couldn't have done that better. I'm talking, I mean, I didn't even mind that the call was behind the play, because the radio, they pick up so if people who didn't watch it, they pick up the video feed from the stadium, just the regular stadium video feed, because TSN isn't there.
So sorry, just to explain that. So what that means is when you're at the game and you're watching it and you see everything on the Jumbotron, that's what you're seeing on the live stream.
Exactly. Thank you. So then for audio, they pick up the hometown radio station.
Yes.
So of course you're going to get homers, and that's cool. I liked it.
Honestly,
I'm not a big fan of the two announcers that they had. I thought they were overly excitable and like, oh my God, he got 5 yards. Now, it was like they scored a goal. It was like, what the fudge was that?
Again, we bash on the commentators for the CFL quite often.
How boring it is.
How boring it is. They're making entertaining. Now, and I'm pulling ideas from other, what I'm calling minor leagues that are, I would consider the same par as the CFL. The AHL TV. Now, they've been doing it a few years longer, but when you go in, you get the video from the feed in the arena, and you get the broadcast from the radio. But you can choose which broadcast to listen to.
Yes, and that would be cool.
Give me BC Lions broadcasts, even just for the preseason.
But that didn't even bother me. That wasn't the point. Besides the fact that somehow, and I'll go into it later, the fourth quarter was just blank. It was mute, because whether they lost the feed or the feed got pulled. If anybody's watching and they've heard any stories about that, please comment, because it'll be interesting to see. But they couldn't, like, the buffering, I thought it was my computer, but everybody on every Facebook group was having the same problem with buffering.
Yeah.
That is what I'm talking about. That can't happen.
Again,
I don't know if it's going to be different in the regular season when TSN takes it over.
Yeah. So it definitely will be, because TSN knows how to broadcast things. They already have a streaming platform.
But TSN, they're just going to pick up the TSN feed. From what I've heard, TSN has nothing to do with the stream, and they've made that clear.
Yes, they do. Well, they pick up the TSN feed. So,
but isn't the buffering have to do with the streaming and not with the?
To a degree, yes. To a degree, yes. But they'll have the infrastructure in place from TSN.
God, I hope so, because it was really bad. Like, it was.
Yeah, no, because TSN's going to say what they're going to say. They're not going to let their broadcast be diminished overseas by letting the CFL touch it.
Well, and my biggest worry, and I guess because I'm such a big proponent of this league, I was excited that they have streaming available. I wish it was on an app so people could watch it on their damn phone really easily. I mean, they still can.
Baby steps.
But whatever. My worry is you're going to get Jake's buddies down in
Arizona.
or wherever those hockey people are from
Pennsylvania.
And they're going to say, oh, we're big NFL fans. Let's watch this CFL for the first time. And that's the quality that they get. And yes, it was preseason. I get that. And yes, it's their first year streaming. I get that. But they've had 9 years to prepare for it. How long has streaming been around? I'm guessing 9 years. I just made that up.
More than that. I mean, Netflix was around when I was still in high school.
Yeah, so they've had a decade or more to prepare, and they didn't, obviously.
Now, and I'm giving CFL a lot of slack in this because it is their first year, and yes, they don't have a lot of money to invest in the infrastructure that they need. But were they not allowed to? Because in Canada, the CRTC is very strict on how you are able to broadcast streams, which is why you're not able to use the CFL streams for the regular season. You're only able to do it for games that are not already broadcast on TSN.
Yes. Yeah.
So
if you're in Canada, you can't use the stream for regular season. I get it. And I think it's great because TSN, for all the hatred we want to throw on TSN, when they bid on the contract, they were the sole broadcasters for the CFL.
I don't know how true that is, but
in Canada, sorry, let me rephrase that. They were the sole broadcasters in Canada. That's what the contract reads.
Yes.
Streaming wasn't available. So now all of a sudden they're going to try to bring in a stream. And if you went to Canada, TSN would go, what? We're paying X millions. What?
Well, and that's where there's like the CRTC. So if you're not Canadian, you don't know what the CRTC is. It's the Canadian Radio and Television Commission. I believe that's what it stands for. And they are very big on keeping things restricted to ensure Canadian content and Canadian broadcasters are around. So that's why if you come up to Canada, everyone will know certain songs from certain decades. The reason for that is because at certain points, Canadian music had to be X amount % played on the radio.
Isn't it still?
It's being lowered
content?
It's being lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered as we've moved throughout.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's also really hard to do.
I know there is still. I was talking to Corey, and I'm sure he had said there was still like Canadian.
There is, but at one point it was like 75% of your music had to be Canadian content, and now it's down to like 20% or 15% or something. Gotcha. It's a minuscule number.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see? Sorry, this was something I didn't.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
Did you see, because this is on the same line of thinking with the streaming? Did you see Commissioner Randy Ambrosie's comments on Hamilton radio?
No. What did he say?
He believes, and I'm quoting, "I believe we're the funnest, fastest, most entertaining brand of gridiron football in the world, and one of the things that we need to do is we need some swagger." Basically what we've been talking about. We need to see and understand that what we've got here is special and we need to promote it that way.
Oh, really?
Why is the commissioner saying this and we're not doing it? That'd be like.
And why is it taking the commissioner 7 years to figure this out?
He hasn't been in.
I don't know. How long has he been around?
Entered his role in 2017. Yeah.
Old man, pretty smart.
6 years, one global pandemic.
And the only professional league in the world that didn't have a season. I shouldn't say in the world, in North America anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Even soccer played.
Yeah, MLS.
But anyways, we digress. As for the game,
as for the actual game itself, because again, I watched 5 minutes of it.
The game itself, it was entertaining as all get out. And even though Lions lost, it was 30-27, I think.
Yeah, it was a very close score.
27-24, something like that. Whatever the score was. I think it was 30-27. No, 27-24, I think. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Either way.
Super entertaining. I mean, BC didn't bring a lot of their players. I liked what I saw from BC, and I really liked what I saw from Saskatchewan. I thought both teams, Saskatchewan didn't allow one sack. That's huge for Saskatchewan.
Now,
From last year, they allowed 10 sacks a game, I think. It's not that high, but it was insane.
I honestly believe it was 5+ per game.
It was insane. It was nuts.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They didn't bring their entire one top roster to Saskatchewan. Yeah.
No, they'll save that for next game, the 27th. No,
second.
That was the 27th.
The
second, whatever game that is against Calgary and BC.
In BC, yep.
And even then, I think they're going to hold some back because we played Calgary back to back.
Again, I think we've talked about it. We talked about it last season, our last podcast. I think you'll get one or two series from each top line. So, like if your starters are going to be out on offense for one or two series, your defense starters are going to be out there for one or two series, and then from there
maybe a quarter.
Depends on what you need. I mean, for quarterback for Vernon Adams, I assume he's going to get a full quarter, if not a full half, just to get him up to speed. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do because, again, you're playing the same team 7 days later in your your season opener, home opener for the Calgary Stampeders.
6 days later, isn't it?
No, it's
June 8th.
Is it 6?
June 8th is the game.
Is it?
Thursday night. It's a Thursday night game. You're going, so get ready.
Game?
So yes, we live in Calgary, folks. Even though we are big BC fans and Vancouver Canucks fans, we live in Calgary, and I have season tickets to the Calgary Stampeders. So of course, every BC Lions game, Jake gets to come.
Usually,
I don't think you've missed one. Unless you were away.
Yeah, unless I was not here. And I'm trying to think. I don't.
Yeah.
Unless something major came up, there'd be no reason for me to miss it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, you know me, I'm an optimist. I watched the Winnipeg game. I watched them all.
Okay.
I watched all the games this weekend. It's something I'm going to really try to do all season long, mainly because we're doing this podcast and it's a good excuse to have to watch all the games because I love football.
You and your girlfriend would watch most of the games anyways.
Yeah, I mean, she watches the game.
Yeah, I've seen you watch TV as well.
So I know Winnipeg didn't play their top line the whole time, but Claris was there. Claris played. What was the final score in the Winnipeg-Edmonton game? Can you look that up? Are you able to, or do you want me to?
I can look that up.
I want to say it was. I know it was really close.
Why doesn't show me any scores?
Yeah, what's weird? It's so hard. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to find
any details about preseason games, but
it's like pulling teeth. It's like, holy crap! Unless you're like
final score 23-25 for the Bombers.
Yes, for the Bombers. They just barely. I figured that was it. Now scores don't matter in the preseason. Stats obviously don't matter. I tried to look to see what kind of stats for our QB and our receivers, penalties, anything like that. I guess teams must keep that, but they keep it quiet. They don't tell anybody, which sucks because when you're looking for them and you can't find them. And I bet now that I've said that, somebody's going to message us and say, oh, here's the stats. What are you talking about? If you do, send me a link.
Please do.
So everybody says Winnipeg's the team. They're the team to beat. Big sigh. Smurf Mafia.
If you're a member of Smurf Mafia, do drop a comment. I'd like to see how many of you blue meanies are around.
Blue meanies.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a throwback.
Figured you'd
There's
like
a
that one.
throwback.
I
So,
was going to go with a Blue World Order reference, but I think that would have gone over too many people's heads.
I think the I think the entire league, both East and West, is going to be competitive. I don't think there's going to be a standout team this year where like one team runs away like Winnipeg. I mean, freak. I think by Thanksgiving they had wrapped up first place last year or something like that.
No, that is this is the part of the Winnipeg fandom that is eeped into mainstream narratives. That is not the case. Until Rourke got hurt, halfway through the season, it was a 1 win difference between the BC
Well,
Lions.
I know, but Rourke got hurt, and then I said at Thanksgiving. That's in late October.
Okay,
because I know
I didn't
we were
hear
at
that Thanksgiving.
game.
I didn't hear at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
but I always love these articles and these Facebook groups being like, Winnipeg had it locked up from the worst week, and it's like, no, if Rourke stayed healthy, you Blue Bomber bastards wouldn't have made it to the Grey Cup. That'd be plain and simple.
I guarantee we beat him in the Western Final.
There's a reason Rourke is now in the NFL.
And Claris isn't.
End of story.
Oh, that's going to burn some freaking Smurfing.
End of story.
Smurfing burning.
Yeah, he's a great quarterback for the CFL.
Rourke is just an elite quarterback.
Sorry, Collaros is a good quarterback for the CFL.
Thank you.
I wouldn't even put him up in the elite. I wouldn't put him with Dave Dickinson's, Anthony Calvillo's. Yeah, he won because he had a great team around him. You could have put a blind deaf monkey in there and he would have made half of those passes with the receiving core. I said blind and deaf, not disabled.
Oh, damn. Are you allowed to say that? Oh, we're going to get canceled.
If we haven't gotten canceled yet, and trust me, people have tried, we're not going to get canceled.
I'm only here so I don't get sued.
Sports.ca. Please do check out our articles. Speaking of things like in that nature, because I have an article going up an hour after our podcast talking about the Canucks.
Oh, yeah, sure. He put up his own damn article.
Where's your article? Where's your article?
I sent him an article. It's still not up.
The article you asked me not to post because you had to revise everything? Because a day later they scratched Sean Lemon?
Yeah, it was a major part of the article I wrote, and Jake didn't put it up in time, and then all of a sudden...
See, I saved you. Intuitionally, I saved you.
You did.
But the article that I have going up is talking about the salary cap situation that the Canucks have put themselves in.
Great article, by the way. Jake sent it to me to read. I read it actually 2 or 3 times now. Very well written.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's a conundrum that the Canucks have put themselves in.
Well, I want you to go into. I mean, people can read the article. We're not going to go into the whole article, but you put Canucks need to make space up on the screen there.
The Canucks. Just so you're aware, it's 4-0 now for Vegas, and it's looking like the fat lady is warming up.
You can't say that.
Just did.
You.
She's warming up the vocal cords right now.
So, folks, it's been a nice run here at Hughes Sports.
We got 20-something episodes in. It's fine.
It's fine. We're canceled.
No, the Canucks have put themselves, and the only people to blame, and I'd love to blame old management. The only people to blame really is the lovely management.
What are you doing?
I'm opening up the Vancouver Canucks cap friendly right now.
Oh,
is the lovely ownership duo or the management duo of Patrick Alvin and Jim Rutherford, because
it always you got to start at the top, right?
Well, again, normally I would love to go back and say it's all Benning's fault, but they put themselves in this position. Right now, we're actually with the projected cap space of $83.5 million, which something I want to talk about afterwards. We're $668,000 on top of that, which you're allowed to in the offseason.
Yes, because it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Well, you have to stay within a range.
Yeah.
Now, the Canucks need to clear space, and the only thing I can think of that clear space, and we've talked about it on here before, is buying out Oliver Ekman-Larsson. It's the only thing that makes sense.
So what is his salary?
His salary right
Like,
now. Sorry, I'm just.
If we go into next year, how much of a hit do we take?
If I can click on
If
the
we
right
keep him.
buttons. If we keep him, Oliver Ekman-Larsson makes $7.26 million.
How much?
$7,260,000.
Okay, so $7 million.
Yeah. Now, if we
you need to explain this to me before you go on.
Yes.
If you buy him out,
yes,
you pay him out the $7 million, whatever that number is that you have to buy him out for.
which would be
then what happens?
So yeah, the ownership would have to pay the remaining salary to him right away. So it would be, where did he go? 1, 2, 3, 4 years left at 7.26 million. So let's just say it's 7.3. So you're looking at what? 7, 14, 28, 28.
Call it 29 million.
29 and a half or so.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's bonuses. This is just looking at cap hit. So what the actual salary owed is going to fluctuate in there. You would pay that out to him. You would then get a cap hit savings, but it would increase the length of term that he's on your books. So next year for 23-24, we would have $8 million, $8,083,333 of cap space, just freed up by saying we're buying him out.
But how much of that $7 million would still be on the books as far as our cap space? Do you know that number
for this year? If it was this next upcoming year, it'd be $146,667.
Oh, okay. You obviously have that right in front of you. That's cool.
The next year, we would save $5,583,333. And
so there'd be $2 million on the books.
There'd be 2.346 million. Then the year after that, we'd have 2.833 million in savings. So 4.76 on the books. That would be the exact same for 26-27 season. And then we would have 4 years where there's 2.126 million of dead cap.
Oh, interesting.
So basically what you do is you take it and you stretch it out over that term, right? But you get all the savings next year.
Right.
Now the team...
Now the salary cap number you gave us is the current one.
The 7 point... Yeah.
No. The total team cap.
Yeah.
Which is 80...
Well,
what is it?
It's a projection of 83.5 million. Now...
Okay, that's the projection.
Now that's what I wanted to come back and talk about. Because there are rumors, and I'm pulling up another article here. A gentleman by the name of Larry Brooks from the New York Post talks about the NHL and NHLPA. This was posted on May 20th. Our meeting this week to open discussions on a variety of issues that include the possibility of increasing the salary cap beyond the prescribed $1 million. Executive Director Marty Walsh, who's been on the job for only 2 months. The Players Association is on record that the union will not be willing to raise escrow ceiling, blah, 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 blah. Larry Brooks and Slap Shots, which is the hockey vertical under the New York Post, has learned that the Players Association is willing to discuss increasing the schedule to 84 games.
Just what we need, more games.
Now, I mean, we used to have an 84-game season. It was shortened down to 82.
When was it 84? I don't remember it ever being 84. Now, my memory's not the greatest, but...
It was an 84 season in 92 to 94.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. And then they lowered it to 82.
And then they've increased the teams in the league by about 5, I think. 5 or 6 since that time.
Oh, right.
So adding an 84 games would kind of make sense. But the reporting that Larry Brooks has done on this is basically saying the PA is willing to look at 84 games if the salary cap goes up by more than $1 million.
So is it a set thing, like it's $1 million a year? That's how much the salary cap goes up only?
Well, during the COVID era, I'm using that term lightly because we're no longer in the COVID era. It was basically to keep the league alive because the owners were hurting for money because they didn't have their fans in, and these billionaires weren't making more money, they introduced a term called HRR, which is hockey-related revenue. So
Right.
if HRR is over a certain point, it'll go up by more than $1 million. However, because of hockey-related revenue is kind of capped at where it is, it's only going to be $1 million for, I think, this next year. And then after that, it'll go back up to being calculated by a percentage of hockey-related revenue and growth.
Because I'm just trying to I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that we're only going to go up $1 million out of an $84 million cap. Where does that work out to? That's like less than 1%.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah. It's you do 1 out of 82.5 times 100, you're at a 1.2% increase. Because it's going up to 83.
I want somebody who buys a hockey ticket that bought him last year and to buy him this year to tell me if they've had more than a 1% increase in their hockey tickets.
Now, I honestly believe that there hasn't been that big of an increase.
Less than 1%.
I'm saying this very in the blind because I buy a lot of my tickets on the secondary market because I don't buy season tickets. I don't think of the Canucks coming to town until it's way too late. If we
just buy BC Lions tickets or Calgary Flames tickets, and they went up more than 10%.
How much did they go up by, if you don't mind me asking?
I forget. But they went up more than 1%.
Yeah.
I said 10, but they went up more than 1. I can guarantee you that.
It's but again, this was the emergency NHLPA agreement to get the bubble season done.
It's interesting that, and you know me, I'm not a big. I think all that stuff is just bubbly goop when it comes to fans, nerd hockey. It's just hard for an average guy to look at that. Yeah, that's a big increase, $1 million. It sounds like a ton of money.
But when you look at it, a right-hand shot defenseman, a second pairing right-hand shot defenseman, you're looking at $4 million.
Well, yeah.
Your backup goalie,
right? How do you?
The average backup goalie, I think, is $2.2 million.
It goes back to that movie, the baseball movie,
Moneyball.
Is it Moneyball?
Moneyball.
Right. I don't know.
That's where a lot of these advanced statistics that you call gobbledygook and everything came from. Is from those mathematicians.
Moneyball.
Corsi and everything is based off of Moneyball. Moneyball is the easiest, and that's why I believe it. I mean, the fact that it was the first done, but the reason the movie got made was because it's very easy to tell people how Moneyball works.
Yeah.
You're not replacing 150 home runs. You're replacing bats or bases. Do I matter if he walks? No. Do I matter if he gets hit? Do I care if he hits anyone or if he gets hit by the pitch? No. Do I care if it's a single every time? No. He gets on base. Hockey is a very different. So is basketball. So is soccer. It's so much different analytical information that you have to put in that even these advanced statistics don't capture the whole story.
Well, because in baseball is the one sport where hitting matters. That's the only thing, right?
But shooting matters.
Well, yeah, and you can use it how many shots, but I guess from a defenseman to a forward with baseball, it's plain old. How many times have you been on base?
Well, and it's not just that, but it's the only position where defense has the ball.
Yeah.
No, like cricket. Cricket is the same way.
Yeah. Tennis you can't count because it's not a real sport.
But that's not defense offense. You're playing defense on offense. You're like in tennis, like volleyball is the same way. Baseball is a very weird anomaly. Baseball and cricket because they're based off of the same ideology.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Going back to the Canucks, the only thing is. Go ahead. The only thing that makes sense to me is either you have a big trade up your sleeve for the draft day, which again we talked about last week with rumors of the Canucks jumping up. Now there's rumors of us jumping backwards, moving backwards in the drafts with the Chicago Blackhawks.
It was funny because I heard last week you talked about jumping to third, and then I was reading something, I think, on Facebook, another article, and I swear to God, I had to look at who wrote it because I was like, Jake was just talking about this, but it wasn't with the Canucks, it was with another team doing the exact same thing you talked about, or similar.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, there's always rumors this time of year that, oh my God, conversations are happening. Really? The GMs of teams that aren't in the playoffs are talking? I'm shocked.
Go figure.
But the Canucks are a team that need to make a move. The Blackhawks are a team that want to get as many draft picks as possible. They got the most luck they could ever ask for in that they did.
Yeah.
In that Gary Bettman and the NHL organization didn't strip them of their first overall pick for the last 10 years of terrible management. But that's besides the point. We can't go back and fix it now. Connor Bedard is going to be a Blackhawk. And that kills him because I know for a fact, because he's talked about it, his most vivid memory of watching the Canucks as a fan is
the
Dragon Slayer. No, the Dragon Slayer goal, which wasn't the stanchion goal.
Oh, you're right. Yes,
the Dragon Slayer goal, which again, that was against the Blackhawks. So
yeah,
I hope he pulls a Lindros and just says, "No, I don't want to."
It's not. You would have heard that already.
Would you?
He's playing with the Blackhawks. Come on, they've sold millions of dollars worth of tickets.
Oh, do you want to get a refund on your Stampeders tickets? Oh, they're non-refundable.
Yeah.
So what happens?
No, he's playing. Don't kid yourself. He's playing.
And the only reason I say that is because
Sorry, I'm clicking buttons.
Yeah, why are you clicking buttons?
I'm just clicking buttons. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I clicked a button. You got me all frustrated.
Stop clicking buttons, you wackadoo. The only reason I could see him doing that is because
elder abuse.
That's not elder abuse. You're not elderly yet. You've got another year. The only reason I could see Connor Bedard saying that he refuses to play is because of all the controversy with the Kyle Beach comments and everything like that. Are you done? Are you
really breaky uppy? No, you're
getting 100% on your side.
You're getting breaky uppy, and I don't want to have to. Is it?
No,
Damn it.
I'm gonna. Yeah, it's you. I have a green bar connection. You have an orange bar connection. So yeah, I could see them doing it. It's not likely. It's a dream scenario for a Canucks fan like myself to say Blackhawks get struck again by their terrible ownership, management, and everything in between. Players, including and not limited to Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook. The list can go on. But the next thing we want to talk about, I'm going to wait to keep dragging the puck for the old man to reconnect. We are now at the end of the second period, and the Vegas Golden Knights are leading the Dallas Stars by a score of 4-0. It's not looking good for the Dallas Stars. Welcome back, old man. You have green bar connection.
I do. My apologies. It's not looking good. It looks like we're going to have a Vegas Panther final.
Well, now I have to cheer for the Panthers. So
I've been cheering for the Panthers the whole time because why? I picked them to win the whole damn thing.
Hey, look at that. You're having connection issues. Speaking.
Oh, sorry. Did you have connection issues? I don't know what happened.
Who let you push buttons? Speaking of winning the whole damn thing, the IHF World Championships were going on, and we never talked about them because we fondly refer to them as the Losers Cup. However, Team Canada did win. On Team Canada was Tyler Myers, your favorite defenseman on the Vancouver Canucks, Chaos Giraffe, and Ethan Bear. However, Ethan Bear was injured in the tournament, and he doesn't have a contract going into next year, so it's kind of a problem. But it could be good news for the Canucks, because if a lot of teams see he has an injury and don't want to take a chance on him, it could lower his price and be able to fit him into the Canucks' puzzle pieces. It's an option. But the one person I really want to talk about, because I think it's the greatest story, and hearing things about the team that took third place. Do you know what team took third place in the double? Do you know who Team Canada beats? Do you know who Team Canada beat in the gold medal game?
Germany.
Germany, correct. Who came in
Germany.
third place?
No, not Slovakia. Is it
Nope.
no?
No.
What's his name? The guy from the
Archer,
Canucks was a goalie.
Archer Seelovs.
Yes.
And he's from
Slovakia.
no,
I don't know.
Latvia.
Latvia. I was close.
Bronze medal. The first time Latvia has ever medaled in a double IHF hockey tournament, period.
Did you see the picture of
downtown of the
downtown
airports?
Latvia?
Yeah. Did you hear what they did?
No.
So a couple nights ago, they won bronze, right?
Yeah.
Politicians call an emergency 12:30 midnight Congress session, or whatever they call it, House session, to pass a stat for today.
Nice.
Latvia got a stat holiday because they won
gold. We got shit.
Because they won bronze.
We got gold and we got shit.
What a story, though. Like, honestly, every time they come through the World Juniors, the fans are always excitable. The environment in Latvia is always great.
Yes.
But you never think they're going to win anything.
And they win bronze.
And Archer Seelovs.
Do you think you'll be our backup next year?
Well, that's the big conversation in... My voice is going to go on me. Biggest conversation right now in Vancouver is, should he be the backup? I mean, if you look at his stats from the AHL and the NHL, he's played 49 games, 44 in the AHL, with a record of 26, 12, and 5. So not a terrible record. A 909 save percentage only. An average goalie's 910, 915.
Yeah, but 909
it's not bad. However, his world championships stat line: 10 games played, 7-3, 2.2 goals against average, so less than 2.5 goals per game, 921 save percentage.
Wow.
I'm not convinced he should be our backup for two reasons. One, he's young. He is 22. He just turned 22.
Not that young, is he?
For a goalie, that's very young.
Who's our regular backup? Who was our backup last year?
Spencer Martin for a little bit.
They were all over.
Seelov's got a couple games because of Demko's injury.
It'll be interesting to see as they go forward what's going to happen. That's for sure.
I think so. I think if Seelovs comes in, and this is the benefit of moving your AHL franchise to Abbotsford for the Vancouver.
Yes.
Is Seelovs comes in and he has a lights out preseason. He comes in fully in shape, ready to go, and he's like, "No, I'm not just playing in the AHL. I'm going to be number one in the AHL, and I'm going to push Demko to take his job."
Yeah.
In my opinion, you give him 35 starts split between the AHL and NHL. You can move him up and down, no problem.
Can you?
He's on a 2-way contract.
Okay, so you don't have to clear waivers, because sometimes you have to clear waivers, don't you?
Yeah.
Is that
if you're not on a 2-way contract, you have to clear waivers, but he's on a 2-way deal. So, I mean, he was named tournament MVP of the World Championships. That's not a small feat for a 22-year-old goalie for Latvia.
Yeah.
I just want him to get enough starts, because the worst thing you could do
is sit him
for his growth is, okay, you're going to play behind behind Demko, and Demko's going to play 65 games, and you're going to get 20.
Yeah.
18. No, that's not good. You need him to get 40, 50, 60 starts. Now, does that mean he gets 30 in the NHL? So on a scheduled backup day, he's with the NHL. Other times he's down in the AHL and he's getting as many starts as possible.
That'd be okay.
To me, that's the smartest option.
Am I wrong and I mean, you're the more hockey guy.
Yep.
They're playing the same style of game in both. Abbotsford as they're doing in Vancouver.
In theory, yes. I believe.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Moving forward, I believe you are going to be correct that they're going to be all focused on one with Rick Tocchet and
Yeah,
Jeremy
it would make
Culleton.
sense because then
I
you can
don't.
call guys up and they're used to a system.
I don't believe it's always been the case. I don't believe
I would believe that.
Especially with Bruce, because Bruce didn't really have a system. He was
just
just
had to go out and play hockey.
which, hey, works for certain people. But what are you dropping your jaw? Does it have to do with the chat that was dropped into our chat box?
No, I didn't see a chat. Did we have a chat?
Yes, he's elderly. Latvia. Welcome, Uncle Jack.
Talk about elderly.
But you know what? Today we're actually going to be a little bit short on time
We are.
because this election is very important to both of us, and we like to watch the results because we're political nerds.
Along with hockey and football nerds.
Apparently, I'm just a nerd. Who knew?
Where do they go for hockey and football news if they want to
Hockey
hear?
and football news. Go to hughesports.ca. Check us out. We'll be, like I said, there'll be an article posted in literally an hour if you're watching this live on hughesports.ca, on our Facebook page, HSP_pod, as well as on Twitter, HSP_pod. And yeah, you can also check out my articles on ITR. We are a presentation of Inside the Rink. I will be posting an article later today about Artur Silov's, actually, the conversation we just had right now.
Oh, cool.
About
I haven't read that one.
What he went through and everything like that.
Very
No, honestly, the reason I sent you the article and pulling the curtain back is if I explain something and you can understand it, it's a good article.
Wow.
Because
wow.
No. It sounds like an insult, but it's not. Because I get in the weeds with a lot of details and I don't always explain them right. And you are the fan.
Do you need a shovel to dig yourself out of that hole?
No, not at all. Because I'm in the right here. Because
boom.
I get in the weeds with a lot of the details and the murkiness and the explaining of the NHLPA, where you are a normal fan. What?
My eyes normally do.
Yeah, exactly. So if I can send you an article and you can understand it and it makes sense and you like it, I know I've done good.
There you go.
Where can they find you, old man, on
the social
media?
They can find me at KevHughes64 on Twitter. I'm going to start doing something different on that little Twitter frickin' machine, I think. Jake told me to.
I think you should.
And, of course, just my Facebook page.
As well as the Valley Channel.
If Jake hasn't got us canceled, we'll be back next week.
Also, I'm going to plug it in because he never does it. You can also check him out on his other Facebook page and his other line of work, Cavalli Channeling.
Oh, yeah.
Where he does work with the spiritual stuff. But that is a whole nother podcast for a whole nother time.
Yes.
You can find me at JStreams, JEH Streams on Twitter, on Twitch at JStreams here. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Cool. Till next week, if we haven't been canceled.
We will not be canceled because it's our own show and no one owns us. So you beautiful human beings, have yourselves a wonderful week, and we will catch up next week for the start of the CFL season.